Hey guys, it's Brian. Welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh video. And so today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a combo video. I'm just going to show off a few basic combos with the Endymion Dinomist deck and a sample test hand just to show you guys just what you can basically do. Mostly really the Dinomist engine in this deck is to help turbo out your Electromite. And not only that, it also gives you access to Infinity and also a boosted up Abyss Dweller. So that's something to keep in mind. Not only that, with the Endymion Dinomist deck, you have a lot more recursion and you have more options as far as what you want to go ahead and summon. But you still have to keep in mind stuff like Nibiru. I am working on an update for this deck just to see if I can go ahead and make a slight improvement on it, if it's possible. Because the deck is very tight, but it is a very fun deck to play and it's very competitive. So first off, I'm going to showcase the basic of the basic in case you're unfamiliar with the Dinomist cards. This was made in Master Rule 3, but this card was made for Master Rule 4. So Dinomist Charge is pretty much a tanky for the Dinomist, but if a Dinomist monster goes to the field to the extra deck, you can add one of those and put it back into your hand. So if it was multiples, you can just go ahead and choose one. It does not target, you just go ahead and put it back in your hand. So you just, for the basic Dinomist combo, you just need a Dinomist Charge and one other Dinomist, which is either Terran, Plesios, or Ceratops. But you need a normal summonable Dinomist and a Ceratops with a charge. So what you do is, you go ahead and use charge, get the one that's missing. In this case it's Ceratops. Go ahead and normal summon in Terran because you only control Dinomist monsters, you special summon Ceratops. And you make your Electromite. Chainlink 1 is always going to be the charge because it is a mandatory effect when you add back to your hand, and Chainlink 2 will be Electromite. So in this case, you would always select the Chronograph in case you already have it, and you add back a Terran, and you pretty much would just have an activation. And for the Electromite, you can go ahead and even pop the charge to go ahead and complete your scales if it's really necessary. Next, we're going to go ahead and show off one of the more explosive combos with the deck, which is Dragon Shrine and Dinomist Charge. And let me say, as of right now, this is probably the best 2-card combo in the deck because this gets you an Electromite and 2 scales to Pendulum Summon out. And it only gets better when Servant is involved, and I'll showcase that in a moment. So first off, we're going to start out with Dragon Shrine. Go ahead and get the Dark Worm engraved. You're going to special summon out the Dark Worm, search out the 0, and then you're going to go ahead and add that, activate Dinomist Charge, and add the Terran. You're going to choose Terran here because it is the low scale. And so you're going to go ahead and link summon. Go ahead and get into Electromite. You're already going to recover the Terran. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and use the 0. You're going to pop that to go ahead and get back the Sorcerer. And so you're going to go ahead and draw. In this case, the card could be anything as long as it's not Time Gazer, so we're not going to go ahead and use that monster, which is the Mighty Master, but this is just to showcase the example, since that is a mandatory effect from Electromite. So you're going to go ahead and Pendulum Summon out both the 0 and the Dark Worm, and you're going to go ahead and special summon out the Time Gazer, make LP right away, and triple burst. See, you're gonna go ahead and either make a Saryuja, but most of the time you're going to go ahead and just use this to to make your absolute and link it into the Hieratic Seal, so that way you can go ahead and have your vortex. Now, this is just adding on the servant to the previous two combos, because after all, most of your deck is combo starter since you're running Chronograph, Master Service, Jackal King, Chronographs. So pretty much any combination, as long as you don't draw 2 Ceratops, 2 Jackal Kings, and a Servant, you can play the game without a problem. The only weakness I say to the deck in itself, without depending on your opponent, is if you open multiple Ceratops. But that's the reason why you only limit yourself to 2, not 3 copies. Because you don't really want to go ahead and have it in your opening hand unless you have a combination card to go with it. So in this case, you would have Servant first. You go ahead and use Dinomist Charge. Complete your scales with... complete your materials for Electromite. So you go ahead and normal summon Terran, special summon Ceratops. Get your Electromite. And so, go ahead and add back whichever one of the 2. Activate it. Go ahead and activate the Chronograph. And so, from here on out, you know for a fact you're going to have your Pendulum Summon. You're going to have your Servant active. So I would recommend just Pendulum Summoning out the monsters first, and then activate Time Gazer. I'm sorry, not Time Gazer. But activating Servant after you complete the Pendulum Summon, and that way you go ahead and go into your Jackal King, get Chronograph out, and you link all 4 of those monsters away for your Saryuja, and it would just depend on your draws. But that's just one way of going through one of those 2 basic combos I showed earlier with the Servant. And like I said, the most explosive 2-card combo in the deck is Dragon Shrine with Dinomist Charge. However, with a Servant involved, it becomes a lot more explosive than that. So, of course, you're going to go ahead and use Dragon Shrine here, or get the Dark Worm, search out your 0, Dinomist Charge, which is your second in scale in this case, second counter, at the Terran, normal summon, go ahead and link them away into your Electromite, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, and you're going to go ahead and get your Chronograph, activate it. Go ahead and pop it again. Get your Chronograph Sorcerer. And so you're going to go ahead and from here activate Servant. Use 0 and Chronograph. Pendulum Summon out your cards. Use Chrono. And you're going to go through your basic Guard Dragon combo here. LP, getting out Destrudo. And here you're going to go ahead and link all 4 of those monsters into your Saryuja. And it will just depend on your draws, but you're at least guaranteeing yourself the FA0, FA Dawn Dragster, sorry. And if you draw your Infusion, you have your Boral Sword targets. And you can always just draw into another negate. Because the deck runs plenty of monster negates, and spell and trap negates. So anything you draw is pretty much just going to add on to it. So that's one of the reasons why you go ahead and just continue to progress and see how many negates you can get. Because the more negates you have, the less your opponent can play, and this deck just powers through going ahead and getting as many negates as possible on the board. Last thing I want to show is just a sample hand. This isn't the greatest hand to show off, but this is just one sample hand as if you draw a bad hand. So here you're just going to go ahead and use Dragon Shrine, get your Dark Worm. So you're 0, you're just going to normal summon out your Time Gazer. Get your Electromite. In my case, I did mess up here because I could have just go ahead and left the Ceratops in the extra deck, because I would have loved to use the scale, the extra monster zone, and just get the Infinity out on board first. But that's just the hindsight, as I did mess up on this one. But this is the point of testing, because you did go ahead and make sure you practice and practice and practice. But here, what I do here first is just go ahead and go into my Guard Dragon combo. And I do use one of the Ceratops to go ahead and link away into the Saryuja. So it'll be Absolute first, then Saryuja. In this case, I go ahead and put back those 3. And here I'm just going to go ahead and make Destrudo. I'm going to go ahead and make Boros Savage, and since I did have a Dark Worm, it is Dragon, so I go ahead and make Heavenly Spheres, and I keep the Spell Power Mastery for the next turn in case something bad happens. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the basic combos of the deck and the sample hand in case you draw a bad hand. But as you can see, the deck just goes ahead and just gives you plenty of options for negates, and it just depends on what you feel is more appropriate in the moment. If you feel like an Omni Negate, in other words a card that can negate both monster spell and traps, or just monster or spell removal if you know your opponent's playing a monster heavy or a spell trap heavy deck. It depends on what you see at the moment. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and please feel free to comment down below if there's anything that you like to ask in regards to the deck itself. And if you haven't already, like the video and subscribe for more content. But I hope to see you guys again next time. See ya.